Thanks, Dan. Hi, everybody. Can I just check that you can all see the screen? Dan, can you just give us a notification that you can see our slides? Okay.
Yeah, I can see it.
Perfect. Nice one.
Great. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Dan. Great to be here. We're going to not try and mention the C word. So what we're going to do is talk about assessment-based marketing, what it is, and how it can actually help professional service-based businesses to create a personalized journey, if you like, for their prospects and for their customers. So just to give you some background, Mike and myself have been working together for the past 5 or 6 years. Mike has been supporting my exhibitions business, where we help businesses at trade shows to engage with their target audience. And what happened over the past 12 months since we had the lockdown at the back end of March, we started talking about that prospect to customer journey and looking at some of the challenges that businesses face in terms of how they actually connect with their prospects and how they actually generate leads and so on. And the common theme was that as business owners, we have a number of challenges, like talking to the wrong type of clients. We have challenges with assessing whether the businesses are right for us if we want to do business with us. We look at do the customers have a capacity to pay? Are they wasting our time? And then the other thing is we look at how can we differentiate ourselves amongst all of the other competition. And being in a professional service-based business, the challenge is always how to actually differentiate yourself and not focus on just the ability to work on a price basis. So what we did was we looked at, okay, how can professional service-based businesses align their sales and marketing and actually improve how they can actually deal with their prospect base and create a more compelling and interesting prospect to customer journey. So we came together and thought, let's look at a way where businesses can bridge that gap between sales and marketing in one simple way. And the answer was assessment-based marketing. Now, could I have the next slide, please? Yeah. So what we're going to look at today is how we use assessment in business. Look at some of the key issues with problems with business development. And then obviously we're going to look at how to create a non-intrusive and engaging way to drive highly qualified business leads that can actually help your business grow. We're going to look at some examples of where assessment-based marketing is in practice already and how it's actually helping those businesses to grow their business, and how to implement assessment-based marketing and sales in your business in an easy way without the challenges of creating another business channel. So we looked at, so we have a questionnaire. Since we actually launched the business, e5interactive.io, we're practicing what we're preaching. So on our website, we asked the question, how engaged are your business leads with your business? So, and it's a questionnaire about 40 questions long, and we've collected some data, and the responses so far, we've had, I think, over 100 people actually take the assessment, and we found some really interesting data, and there's 3 examples of questions here that we've asked. And the first question is, have you defined your complete prospect to customer journey? And it seems that 45% of businesses don't actually have a defined prospect to customer journey where they've actually said, right, this is what happens at each stage during that journey. So from the lead capture to the the assessment of the client to the actual closing of the sale and issuing of the invoice. So I mean, that's quite a eye-opening figure when you realise that 45% of businesses who've taken the survey don't have that definition. So then you look at the second question is, do you offer any kind of assessment or review to understand your client's needs? And you can see there's still a gap in the market where 35% of businesses don't offer any kind of assessment. But the positive news is that 65% of businesses are still managing to do that. And another key question here is, do you struggle to differentiate value? And this kind of backs up our theory in that professional service-based businesses do struggle, and it is quite a high figure of 65% of businesses do struggle with differentiating their services from their competitors. So in the world today, I mean, we are in the business world today, all of us in business are using assessments of some kind in our businesses. So here are some really good examples. So you have a contact form on a website, you have surveys. In the recruitment industry, we're using profile assessments all the time. We're looking at the customer needs analysis. A lot of businesses have a needs analysis form. When they actually engage with the client, they sit down with them, ask a lot of questions, and they go through that assessment, especially in the financial sector, for example, where they actually go through a questionnaire to assess a person's ability to, or how they actually want to invest their money, for example. So I had one last year where they looked at how risk averse I was. Yeah, so we are actually using assessment-based marketing, and the key behind this is what it actually gives us is the data. And data this year has, come to the forefront, and there is a revolution. I mean, we've had the industrial revolution, we've had the internet revolution, and what's happening now is that we actually have the data revolution, where data is driving a lot of the decisions that businesses make. And the key thing here about assessments is how you actually capture that data and how you actually use it to assess business and your customers as well, and to help your customers and prospects as well. So moving on. So for us, assessments are all about helping you to learn, helping your prospects to learn in an interactive way, and helping you as a business to make better decisions and faster. So it's all about getting your prospects to get them thinking. There is an aspect of gamification as well. So if you're putting a questionnaire out there, you are actually challenging people. So and you're arousing curiosity as well, and you're actually rewarding that experience with actually giving them something back. And for you as a business, you're actually getting data in a non-intrusive way. So in our businesses, we all have common sales challenges. And here are some examples. I mean, as we discussed earlier, a lot of businesses don't have a clear strategy in how they actually go from, how they take their prospects along that journey. We have, again, a lot of the professional service business, they are all professionals, and they don't actually necessarily have the right sales experience to be able to take customers through that journey. And then obviously the other challenge we have is a lot of professional service-based businesses work on referrals, and sometimes they're actually blind referrals because you don't actually know what that person wants, and sometimes you end up going through that process, and at the end of the day there is no requirement from that referral. And then obviously there's a poor qualification process in place as well, where you may have a contact form on your website, people come through with a name and an email, and you end up chasing them forever. sometimes those people just want that bit of extra information, and it just makes me think in my trade show experience, a lot of businesses thought that collecting names and email, they actually, we have some clients, especially technology-based clients, where they just want to scan your badge and they classify those as leads. And I've been forever fighting a battle to say to businesses, no, that's not a lead, it's just data of and it's an email and address, and you don't actually know what that person actually is looking for. So it's, you're collecting data obviously from the forms, but it's not necessarily the right kind of data. So the challenge is, how do we actually use assessments to actually collect the right kind of data and use it in a way that actually helps and motivates our prospects to do business with us. So I was looking at, when we were preparing for this, we were looking at some key data, and there's a report that came out in September, and it was done by Salesforce, the CRM system. And what kind of backed up Mike's and my thinking was that the research that they did, what they found was that the sales leaders will actually, over the next 12 months, what they're looking to do is take a personalized outreach program, a simplified sales process, and improve data quality and accessibility. And that, and the reason for that is a lot of salespeople are having a major challenge in terms of figuring out what's actually valuable to them. As you can see here, there's 75% of sales leaders out there actually trying to figure out what kind of data is actually the most valuable to them. And the other major challenge is knowing how to access that information.
Try and join this.
Sorry?
Oh, yeah.
So what was that?
I think it was an accident.
Okay, moving on. So this kind of backs up where sales leaders are looking at ways to personalize their approach to their prospects. What I will do now is I will hand over to Mike, and he's going to actually talk about, he's going to talk you through about defining the prospect to customer journey and how you can use assessments in that process.
Cheers, Lee. So I think one of the biggest challenges that I've found in my career today, I mean, we work very heavily with professional service and consultancy-based businesses which offer a service of real expertise, but in a market where there's also lots of businesses offering services with real expertise. And how can the customer know who to choose and which business is the one to trust more and where they should be spending their money? And one of the biggest challenges I found through that process is helping businesses, one, understand who they want to do business with, and then helping them create a systematic approach to getting more of those type of clients and taking them through to a stage where more of them are being qualified, more of them are being spoken to, and more of them are coming through the door as potential customers. And the way that we do that is helping them work out this sort of 4-stage process. And that the first part of that is having a really, really deep understanding of that target customer. So that's who they are, where they can be found, their pains, their challenges, what type of customer actually has the ability to pay for the service that you're offering, what do they value in terms of what they're looking for, at what point do they buy in their buying cycle as well, to understand what kind of content we need to create at each stage to take them through that journey. And finally, their communication style is a really important part as well, because a lot of businesses may have different types of buyers, different types of seniority within the businesses that they're working in, and really understanding who they are and how they like to communicate is a really important part of developing that content strategy too. So knowing, for example, that if you're speaking to somebody who requires a lot of information to make decisions, is a very different way of creating content to target someone perhaps who is a very, very reactive CEO type person who wants quick information in a simple, easy to digest way to help them make decisions quicker. So the first part of really understanding that prospect to customer journey is that deep understanding of the customer to start with, and that helps lay out the process of all the different stages as we progress. And then we need to create a strategy which is really focused on targeting this ideal customer type. So creating a strategy that drives the right kind of leads, the people who have the ability to pay, have the challenges that you can particularly solve, and creating a strategy which from a content perspective and from an acquisition perspective is targeting the right kind of people and building more at the top part of that funnel. And then it's being able to create a system where you're actually getting data from those people to help inform their decision making, but also the way that you speak to them, so that you can create the conversations and the relationships based on the real close needs analysis of that particular person, so that you can have really, really defined and pointed conversations. So the ultimate purpose of that is so that you can speed up the process from them not knowing anything about you to knowing you, understanding that you have a solution to their problems, them getting to the point where they like and trust you, so that it speeds up the process where you can actually get to the point where you can start that sales conversation. And the thing that we need to be able to do that is data and information. And typically, I know for my business and for a lot of the businesses that I work with, they have a very long sales process. It could be 12 months between finding a prospect and actually doing business with them. For others, it's a lot quicker. But a lot of the time, that reason for the slowness of that process is because of the multiple touch points and the multiple conversations they're going to have, all the meetings, all the phone calls, all the presentations, for them to go through this process, whereby we can speed that up by being able to have a really close understanding of their needs and challenges through using different techniques. So just to explain that a little bit more, when a customer is making a decision, they go through quite a few different stages internally in their psychology. So from a standing start, when they first make contact or they first understand that they might need a solution, they're at a point where they're going from a status quo of not knowing they've even got a problem to starting to think about, actually, I've got a problem and I might need to find a solution. And from that stage, they're then going to go through a few different thought processes. Why do they need to find a solution? Who are they going to look to provide it? Why choose that person? Why invest money in it? And when should they invest money in it? And then why should they actually choose a specific provider? And our job as marketers and as business owners is to help them with that decision-making process. It's to help them understand why they need to change their way of thinking and why they need a solution. Is to understand why they should choose us and how we differentiate from the competition, to justify their investment in us, help them prioritize their spend, and help take them through and guide them through the process of working with us. And that's where assessments can really help. It can really help speed up that process, because if we've got a really detailed knowledge of a customer's needs and challenges, if we understand really closely about their business and how they've got to this point and where they're looking to go next, it means that we can have very, very detailed conversations with them, build relationships from the start with conversations that are really focused on their specific challenges. So it's not a general needs analysis. We can go straight to the point and really help them with their challenges. And we can really differentiate our value by really sort of telling stories, creating content which reflects the challenges that they're having, and starts to build trust in our businesses. So just moving on slightly onto how we can actually use assessment across the marketing mix. So I'm going to put a couple of examples of how other businesses are using it, but just to sort of set the scene, I just wanted to explain this process. So at the starting point, we need to understand our customer journey, we need to understand our target customer, and we want to understand what we want to achieve by creating those assessments and the data that we need to guide those conversations. So the starting point is actually creating the assessment itself, which can be in lots and lots of different ways. The technology allows us to do simple yes/no questions. It now allows us to gamify it, create quizzes, put really detailed formulas in place if you want people to give you very, very specific information. So we create an assessment itself, and then we can use it across all our different marketing channels. We can use it on our websites as a lead generation tool. Both Lee and I are using it for our own specific businesses, and a number of clients are using it on their businesses, websites as a means to capture data, but in a very, very interactive and gamified way. We can use it as a tool to get out across social media. We can use it as a tool for events and webinars. So this is something we've been doing heavily over the last few weeks, and a lot of our clients are too. So actually during a webinar or an event or ahead of or after, we can send assessments out and use that as a way to guide the content that we're delivering within the event itself. So an example of that is a few of the graphs that we showed at the start of today. We could do that interactive during the event, or we can lean on data that we've got from attendees to actually really personalize the content that we're delivering. And we can use it as well through the day-to-day new prospect meetings that we're having. So whenever I, for example, go and meet a new client, I always ask them to take our assessment first to help give me the information I need to guide that conversation, but also help to build trust from their part as well. I'm going to show you how that happens on the next slide. So we've got a couple of examples here. One that is maybe very well known to some of you. So there's a business called Dent, run by a gentleman called Daniel Priestley, which I'm sure some of you might have heard of. He runs accelerator courses and is a serial entrepreneur. Now they have an assessment tool called the Key Person of Influence Report. And this is a fantastic tool that you can go to their website and take the assessment. And the whole purpose of it is to understand how much of an influence you are as a business owner, and how you can improve the way that you're using your own personal influence and your own personal branding to take your business forward. So this guides you through a number of different questions to assess where you are across 5 or 6 different categories, to then give you a result and show you your strengths and weaknesses. And then through a very, very detailed 20-30 page PDF report, you're getting lots and lots of useful content to help guide you and help you improve. Now, the purpose of this is for a couple of different reasons. One, it's to help give you some fantastic content, which is obviously going to help you with your challenges. 2, it's giving Dent lots and lots of very, very bespoke information about your particular challenges so that they can help tailor the products and services and the training courses and the accelerators that they're promoting to you. But 3, it's leaving you a really impressive and valuable perception of the brand as well. You're getting some great content, which is helping you with your challenges, all presented in a beautiful way, which is going to leave you with a really strong feeling. So it's going to help guide those conversations and guide your thinking. And it's just a little example here of the success that they're using. So they've got it on their website. They've had over 68,000 people take this test, and that's 68,000 data sets that they've got of potential customers with a really, really detailed understanding of their needs and challenges to help them direct their conversations. Another little example here of one of our clients, a financial director who works with SMEs. So Helen's got a report which we've created with her to help her understand and her clients understand her value, but help her understand the needs and pains of her target customers, who are typically managing directors and CEOs of fast growth SMEs. So again, it looks at 4 different topics: their results across vision and forecasting, across their business information, visibility and decision making, and it provides 30 pages of really tailored content based on that person's specific results to help guide them and help them understand how they can be better, but again, to help her understand how to really focus her conversations when she's speaking to those prospects. So I hope that kind of gets across how it works in terms of a system and the value to both parties. I'm just going to quickly run through that before we finish up. So the data that's provided and the content that's delivered through these assessments and unique reports helps every stakeholder in the journey, really. So it helps salespeople cover all of the different bases that we've spoke at earlier. So helping them perform a needs analysis really quickly, helping them improve the relationships that they've got and the conversations that they're having with their customers, and make that prospect to customer journey much quicker. It helps marketers, and this is why I got so excited about it, is because it helps us really drive targeted and personalized content to the right kind of people. It helps build brand awareness. It helps build value in our brands and helps really personalize the content that we're creating. But it's also a really great way to help demonstrate some return on investment. For a lot of professional service businesses, a lot of marketing is a lot of around brand awareness. A lot of businesses are concerned about just doing marketing for the sake of doing marketing and not understanding what they're getting back. And this gives us some means to, one, be able to capture data in a unique and interactive way, but also deliver a lot of value and help us really understand the quality of the data that we're getting. From business owners' perspective, it means that sales and marketing can work together. We're both leaning on each other to provide the data that's helping both of us do our jobs much better. It's market intelligence that you own, so that's really important, I think. You know, we're building up a really detailed data set of some of the needs that professional service businesses are facing, and that's something that's unique to us. We're not buying it. We're not buying reports from other people that they're producing. We're constantly creating data, which is meaning that we can have some unique insight into the industry. And it's all around, you know, helping us develop that thought leadership positioning. And from a customer and prospect perspective, and I think that's the most important thing, because it's not all about take. It's about what we're giving and the value that we're delivering, and the way that we can use this data effectively to create really personalized content, which is helping them with their challenges. It's a win-win situation, you know, so they're not just getting generic content that's not targeted. They're getting something they're giving an answer to a question, and they're getting some personalized content that's bespoke to their particular challenge, which can only help them with their decision making and with and helping them see the value in the businesses that we're working with. So just to sort of sum up, the use of assessments in marketing is really an exercise in how we can improve the way that we build personal relationships. We can speed up that process through the data that we're receiving, and also the value that the customer is seeing in the content that we're creating. And that can only help really in terms of helping us build better and stronger personal relationships with our customers, being able to speak their language and help them with their unique challenges they're facing, essentially. So I know it's a real whistle-stop tour, and we've got quite limited time today, but if there is any questions, we're happy to open it up for a couple of minutes, because I know that the guys have got some more sessions to come up with. But if you've got any questions, feel free to put them through in the chat, and we'll be here for a couple of minutes to answer them.